no matter what. Remember that where Baba is concerned, everything that happens is fine and just the way he wants it. So be happy for his sake, no matter what situation he puts you in. And that was by Meru, The Real Treasure by Rustam Falahiti, Volume 1, page 89.
Beautiful.
Jay, please read again.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I would be honored to. Let me find that again. Okay. So this is from the Don't Worry, Be Happy book, and it's called No Matter What by that Meru said. Remember that where Baba is concerned, everything that happens is fine and just the way he wants it. So be happy for his sake, no matter what the situation he puts you in.
Beautiful.
Jai Baba. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share this evening?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes, I do. I do.
All right. What would you like to share?
Well, I want to say to all of you, tonight has been such a lovely night. It's wonderful, and I have been so blessed. I have 5 beautiful, healthy children. They have children. We are grandpa and grandma, and I'm just so grateful to be alive and know you people. Thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. And we looks like we have Shaheem on. Shaheem, do you have anything you'd like to share? Any words of wisdom? Any quotes? No problem. Silence is good. And Angela, what about you? I see you're on. It's so wonderful as always to see you on. Do you have any song that you'd like to share, or advice, or your favorite quote?
I'm not prepared right at this moment, but Shyam Sundar, did you have something? You need to unmute.
I can sing one song.
Yes.
It is same your song with Tanpura. I try to sing it with Tanpura. प्रभु दी दया करो, प्रभु दी दया करो, मन में आनु बसो, मन में आनु बसो, प्रभु जी हे प्रभु जी दया करो, प्रभु जी दया करो, मन में आनु बसो, तुम बिना लागे सुना, तुम बिना लागे सुना, खाली घट में प्रेम भरो, खाली घट में प्रेम भरो, हे प्रभु जी दया करो, मन में आन बसो, तंत्र मंत्र पूजा नहीं जानो, तंत्र मंत्र पूजा नहीं जानो, मैं तो केवल तुझको ही मानू, मैं तो केवल तुझको ही मानू, सारे जग में ढूंढा तुझको सारे जग में, ढूंढा तुझको, अब तो आंगन पाँव धरो। हे प्रभु जी, हे प्रभु जी, दया करो, मन में आन बसो। प्रभु जी दया करो, मन में आन बसो। तुम बिना लागे सुना, तुम बिना लागे सुना, खाली घट में प्रेम भरो। हे प्रभु जी दया करो, मैं आन बसो। प्रभु जी, प्रभु जी, प्रभु जी। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
That is beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I have a poem from Jeff's book, Whistling Past the Tavern. Since we don't have Jeff here. Okay. It's called Left Holding the Baggage. Just relax. Do you still doubt that our beloved accepts you and is carrying you to the goal? Dear friend, you are like a man standing in the aisle of a moving train car, holding his suitcases, thinking he's still away, waiting for the train on the station platform. I'll read it again.
Yes.
Yeah. It's called Left Holding the Baggage. Just relax. Do you still doubt that our beloved accepts you and is carrying you to the goal? Dear friend, you are like a man standing in the aisle of a moving train car, holding his suitcases, thinking he's still waiting for the train on the station platform.
Yeah, excellent.
Nice. Hey, Baba.
Margie, is this your first late night chat? Because you just happened to come when the great Jeff W. is not here. The one night that he misses in who knows how long. You're muted, but we'll come back to you. There she is.
Hi. Oh, can you hear me? I don't want to talk over you.
No, that's fine.
Oh, hi.
It's so good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Margie,
Yeah,
how's it going?
Hi, J Baba.
Hey, long time no see.
I know. Long time no see for everybody.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
I'm actually living in Arizona now.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, I moved
Wow,
out here
neat.
about a year ago.
So
Right
that's a
outside of
very
Phoenix.
reasonable time of evening for you.
Yeah, it's like 7 p.m. It's still light
that's
outside.
nice.
Nice.
Nice. So nice of you to check in.
Yeah,
Please
I've been
come
wanting
back.
to get on. I've been wanting to get on, but it's weird with the time zones or whatever. I always keep messing it up. I'm like an hour behind when it's you know how it goes.
Yeah, there's a way to actually add the calendar to your own time zone. And that way you'll never mess that up.
Never
It
mind,
appears
okay.
on your own Google Calendar, so that's kind of cool. You know, you can look at it or not, you know.
Oh, cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it later. I was requested for a song, so I'm gonna sing a song, and then I'll probably go. Let people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love when everybody keeps retreating. You can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart, Papa. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. When everything feels all over and everybody seems unkind, I'll give you a 4-leaf clover. Take all the worry out of your mind. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Papa, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. I got the only key to your heart that can stop you falling apart. Try today your finest way. Come on and give me a chance to say, let my love open the door. That's all I'm living for. Release yourself from misery. There's only one thing gonna set you free. That's my love. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Papa, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. When tragedy befalls you, don't let it drag you down. Love can cure your problems. You're so lucky I'm around. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Papa, let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Jay Baba.
Hey, Baba.
It's kind of like a sweetened version.
Jay Baba. Thank you, Angela. Beautiful. Love that. Let Baba's love open all our doors to all of our hearts.
So, Pete, you're the Jeff impersonation of Jeff.
No, I'm myself, but Jeff rubs off on me. I mean, he's amazing. Jeff is so awesome. Yeah.
Jeff's like Baba. There's a little bit of Jeff in everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Well, very well said, Margie. Very well said. And there's a little Margie Connor in everybody as well.
Thank goodness.
And we see that Alan's on. Alan, are you there? Do you have anything to share? Any words of wisdom? If Adrian's close by, we would love a song from Adrian as well. The great Adrian Mukian Shamjad. Guess not.
Oh, guess not.
We tried. Rosalie, are you on? We'd love a joke or a poem or anything from you. Okay, it's a quiet night, but that's okay. Do you have anything to share, Margie? Any words of wisdom or jokes or songs? You're so talented.
I don't know about that, but I haven't sung for a really long time, probably since last time I was in India. But I could try to pull out one of those. All right, I'll try. Like I said, I probably haven't sang since my last trip to India, so don't judge if my voice cracks. But this is the Beloved God Prayer in Farsi. So I can sing that. Khudavande gore mahbub hamiye moro yori farma ta taro bishtar بیشتر و بیشتر و باز هم بیشتر دوست بداریم تا شایسته وصالت گردیم و همه ما را یاری فرما تا دامن بابا تا به آخر محکم نگه داریم. خداوندگار محبوب همه ما را یاری فرما، یاری فرما، تا رو بیشتر و بیشتر، بیشتر و بیشتر و باز هم بیشتر دوست بداریم. تا شایسته وصالت گردیم و همه ما را یاری فرما. تا دامن بابا را تا به آخر محکم نگه داریم. تا دامن بابا را تا به آخر محکم نگه داریم.
That was incredible.
Beautiful. Wow.
Oh, just no accent.
No accent?
No accent. You're not Persian.
You mean pure accent?
No,
No,
I'm not
really.
Persian.
You're not Persian, but you sang perfectly like a Persian,
Oh, thank you.
like a real Persian people.
You got it. That was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
My husband said you get A+.
Oh, thank you.
Really. Thank you.
Oh,
Jai
Jay
Baba.
Baba.
Jay Baba, you can really feel like love and devotion and just like the power behind that. So awesome.
I love that. I think that song, you know, Bahram, he's an Iranian Bible lover. He always sings it at Amartithi. And that was where I learned it. I sang it with him and Mom Meher. I think it was like 2017 for Amartithi, and since then it's been like one of my favorite Bible songs. It's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yay, Rosalie's here.
I see Rosalie has her hand up. Rosalie, would you like to share anything?
Yeah, that was beautifully sung. Wow. I wanted to share something from Margaret Craft's book that I love. It's called The Milkman. A perfect master had a wonderful disciple whose time for the realization of God seemed to be not far off. He had, however, one very great difficulty. He would obey his master implicitly, but sometimes not exactly enough, just a little sloppy. One day, the master gave him an order to knock on the door of the master's room promptly at 6 o'clock the next morning. He was, however, late, a little late. But at 6 o'clock exactly, the milkman knocked on the door. And as the door opened, it was he who received the overwhelming flood of realization. Jai Baba. Be on time for the avatar.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Rosalie. Does anyone else feel inspired to share anything on this lovely Tuesday evening? Oh, look at that. A blue bus.
Here we are zooming on the little blue bus. And it did have a couple of flat tires today, but you never know. Driving on Indian roads, or actually American roads. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yes, Prakash, nice to see you.
Yeah, Jai Baba. I'll read a couple of Baba's messages, quotes rather. Here Baba says, every moment I respond to the whole creation. My response, being divine, is wholly from love. That's from the Everything and the Nothing, page 46. And then I keep going. I have a couple more. So here in the universal message, Baba says, to get nearer and nearer to God, you have to get further and further away from I, my, and mine. You have not to renounce anything but your own self. It is as simple as that. Though found to be almost impossible, it is possible for you to renounce your limited self by my grace. I have come to release that grace. So that's from the universal message. I have a couple more. So here, Adi K. Rani, this is not a quote, this is a small story. Adi K. is giving a small example of what do you mean by Baba's grace? So Adi K. goes, the difference between those having Baba's grace and those lacking it. Sorry. The difference between those having Baba's grace and those lacking it is as follows. Suppose the first is traveling with a companion and they have an accident on the road. They are hurt, but an ambulance happens to pass by shortly and they are taken to a hospital. They recover fully and quickly. Without Baba's grace, the second, which is the second person, or others would meet a worse fate. In this connection, a Baba lover tells of a serious car accident in which he and his companion regained consciousness. Finding themselves stretched out on the paved road unhurt, the doors of the car, which was wrecked, were closed. In Adi's example, such an accident actually occurred either shortly before or after he gave the example and turned out just as he described it. I didn't really honestly fully understand, but there it is. And one more quote. Here Baba goes, God is absolutely independent. The only way to approach him is through love, through constant repetition of his name and invocation of his mercy. That's a beauty. And this is the last. For every step the lover takes to the beloved, for every step the lover takes to the beloved takes 10 to the lover. But the lover must continually take that one step. We must practice in taking beloved Baba's darshan, bowing down to him in our hearts every day, then every moment until we have continuous sight of him. This is by Francis Brabazon. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I have something I'd like to share. This is from
Peter,
Inviting His Grace.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Yeah, this is the book that was put together, I believe, by Ganesh. You know Ganesh?
Yes.
In India,
Yes.
yeah. Very, very, very nice book, actually. I mean, very good collection of beautiful quotes, and there's one full chapter on Darwin Shaw's book. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and this is a page I want to read out of that. So out of Darwin Shaw's book, Effort and Grace. So this is on page 46 of Inviting His Grace. Trust in Baba. We should place all our faith and trust in the Master or God. We must know that he can do anything. When we trust in the Master's guidance, he can and does guide us. This is what it is meant by surrendering our will for the will of God. This means that we are willing to set aside our choices for the will of God. This does not mean that we ignore the conditions of life. However, we do not worry and we trust God as best we can. When we trust him completely, we are putting that responsibility on him. He can take care of all our problems. And that was from page 82 to 83 in Effort and Grace. Here's also something beautiful from that same book. It's entitled Take Me With You. Meher Baba says, things that are real are given and received in silence. It is important to go within and keep company with God. His love power dissolves all sanskars. One time in 1956, when we were with Baba at Meher Mount in Ojai, California, Baba told us that we should go out, walk around, and see the views, and try to love Baba through nature. He said, this is all due to my love. This whole creation, this nature, all the beauty you see, all come out of me. Then as we were leaving, he added, and take me with you. Take me with you does not mean just thinking about Baba, but loving him and feeling that he is a part of our consciousness. We can do even this while in the midst of our worldly duties. Jai Baba. Alan, I see you're on. Welcome, Alan. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, Jay Bob, I was just, I'm still in the middle of finishing up dinner here, but I'd like to share this quote from, or not quote, but something that Mani said, and this is from The Joyous Path. And the first part's Heather Nadell. Through a fight, through exhaustion, through having hundreds of thousands of little problems, the women were brought face to face with their weaknesses. And this is Mani. It's extraordinary how Baba would use a weakness, use it and turn it into a strength for us, so that it was not a useless thing. Weakness is useless if we use it. I thought that was an interesting line she said. Weakness is useless if we use it. It's useless for us. But when we give ourselves over to Baba, we're really most of all giving up our imperfections. I mean, Baba himself is perfection. He doesn't need perfection from us. He made us feel that it was not perfect masters that were wanted, but perfect slaves. We give importance to perfection, but Baba already has that. It's our weaknesses and our imperfections that must be given to him. When you are his, all this works. Then your weaknesses are his. Your so-called strengths are his. Your good is his. Your less good is his. His to use.
Can you read that? Can you read that sentence again, Alan?
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, the one that goes. It's useless and something about weaknesses.
Yeah,
No,
she said weakness is useless if we use it. It's useless. It's useless for us. But when we give ourselves over to Baba, we're really most of all giving up our imperfections.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's something that Erich once said. There's a recording of him talking about it where he was like really moved when he was speaking about it, but how that time when I think Baba was giving darshan and people were giving Baba all these gifts, and he was like, what are you giving me all these gifts for? You know, I'm the one that gave you all these gifts.
Right.
Give me the only thing you're not giving me is your imperfections. Something along. I mean, I summarized it completely, but similar to that story, which is something that I think is interesting because I don't even really know what that exactly. It sounds so familiar and so something that I've done, or I don't know. But when you actually try to live with that in your life, it's a whole nother thing. What does it really mean to give Baba your weaknesses? There's no day-to-day human experience where I give my weaknesses to anybody else, to anything else in my daily life. You know, I'm always dealing with everything but that. So I think it's interesting for each one of us what that means, you know, to internally give that, and the good and the less good. So yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you,
there's
Alan.
several ways, right? I mean, whenever I have a thing that I don't want to entertain my focus on that, which obviously is one of the imperfections I have. Then, fortunately, these days I remember Baba immediately. And then, like somebody said before, the same, what do you call, picture of Baba I bring to my mind, where Baba just keeps doing this in 1962 gathering. He just says, I mean, he pulls his hands towards himself and he just keeps on doing it. Give me, give me, give me. So I immediately try to remember that, and then I give it. I think I'm giving it to him. So that's what, and I keep doing it pretty often. So I imperfections I have. So that's the way I try to handle that.
Yeah, that's a really helpful image that you're talking about, and I think that seeing like these moving images
Right.
internally of Baba is really helpful. Like for example, I got my second vaccine shot yesterday, and I was very, 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 very ill, very, 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 very ill,
Wow.
and I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't move. I was just taken down. And the only thing that really gave me any sort of solace, beside, because my everything was in pain, it was just imagining those moving images of Baba, and just I couldn't even think to like, should Baba take this or Baba help me? I didn't even have those thoughts. It was just like so caught up in the struggle, and then I just like pull up this image and be like relief for a couple seconds, and then it'd be back in the struggle. But it kind of showed me the reference point of how much in my daily life do I really rely on, or do I remember him? It was interesting, although it was quite painful. But I'm grateful to feel much better today. I was able to go to work, so that was a positive. I'm still tired, but you know,
So,
it's a
so
miracle.
Alan, let me ask you: did you get a chance to visualize Baba and remember him, and when you had more pain that you were experiencing yesterday, as opposed to the normal good day in your life? What I
Sorry.
meant to ask was, when you had this second shot of the vaccine and you were going through all this pain, right?
Yeah.
And you visualized Baba and saw him in various, forms, I mean, of his. So would you say the day when you experienced all this pain, you remembered Baba more than on a normal day?
I think I was more desperate.
The reason why I asked is because somewhere I remember having read maybe Hafiz poetry or Rumi's or even Baba himself said that this suffering and remembering him can become an addiction at some point. I mean, people look forward. I mean, it's not that they invite suffering, but when it comes, they're actually more happier because they're more closer to Baba, I mean, God, and remember him more.
Oh.
And that's why I just thought I'll
Wow,
check with you.
that's from Rumi or from Hafez? Hafez?
Could be Hafiz, but I think it's Hafiz. I don't exactly know. I mean, it can as well be Rumi, but I think it sounds more like Hafiz.
I think I really relate to that because the way that I lived my life before Baba was in my life was the only way that I would necessarily connect with God was through immense suffering that either I consciously or unconsciously put myself through. And in the ways that I was following, I came, I was part of this, these indigenous kind of practices where there's the use of a lot of like tobacco and smoke and a lot of things that you put yourself through, your sweat lodges and things where you kind of physically suffer a lot. in order to kind of get to a point where, you know, you can't breathe in these places sometimes, to where you, the first time before I walked in, I was like, what is this? And the guy said, this is the fastest way to God. Get in there. And I went in there, and it was like I couldn't breathe. And the only thing I could do was breathe through one small place. And then I couldn't even breathe through there because so intense steam. And the only thing I could hold on to was, yeah, was like, was my, at that time, it was my, that internal place of God. And it was a way to connect. But yeah, I could say that during that time, it then became like, whoa, like this is really fascinating, or this is like really a, this is a way, this is, I guess this is the way to be with God or something. But it's, I think it's much different with Baba, because he like gives little whispers throughout the day, throughout anything that you're doing. You realize you can't really be upset at this person, or you can't really believe this argument that you're having, or you can't really believe that this is, you know, this and that, because you, there's some part of you that's like, you see the facade, or you see, like, you see his face, or you see that he's behind it, and you can let go a little bit more. But yeah, the intense desperateness of the pain, I don't know. I don't know if that made me, I think it was just desperate. I was just like really in physical, total physical suffering. So I don't know if I felt my heart in it. I just felt very like there was the only solace, or like sense of ease to the pain that was constant for hours and hours, was seeing his image moving in my mind.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, it can as well be, you know, some sort of mental stress also can do the
Yeah.
same. I mean, it happens to me, right? I mean, my experience was I was working in a company where the stress was a little a lot at some points in time. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
every 3 months after or something like that. And that 1 month can be so intense. I mean, it's like the whole year has has passed through.
Right.
And that time I would literally go crazy. I mean, go in the morning at 8, come back at 8 in the evening, have some dinner, and get back again, work till 12, 1.
Wow.
And that used to be the routine. And when that happened, and one day we got a break. I mean, we had to take a break. I mean, so one Sunday, and my family was not here. Then, I watched that Meher Baba's call perhaps 7, 8 times the same day. Just I sat and I just watched it over and over and over and over. So I think that was a kind of stress. So during those such times, I seem to connect with Baba a little more than the normal times. I mean, when I turn the TV on and just watch a movie or something like that. so, I think when Hafiz says, in the pain you remember him more, it's very true. The pain doesn't have to be physical. Any mental stress or anything that disturbs your normal balance.
Yeah, I think I was just having this conversation with Adrian the other day, which was the whole thing of like, do we really remember, or how do we remember Baba even during the like the comfortable, loving, bright moments of our lives, you know, like where we're just feeling really good, or we're elated, or like you said, just kind of passing the time and watching television, or and I remember a long time ago when I was reading about Baba, um, there was this quote that I read of Baba where somebody said, like, I'm trying to remember you all the time, and you know, and it's just too much, Baba. Like, they said this to him. They said something like, it just, I'm taking your name over in everything I do, and it's
it's making me not feel good to do that. And then Baba said something along the lines of like, well, you might really love like, potatoes or something, or cake or something, but if you eat cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you keep taking it, and you have to digest sometimes. And so I thought that was a really sweet, simple way that he told that person, like, it's okay, like, when you're with him, you're with him, I think I often
Yeah.
have gotten, in the past, have gotten, and still sometimes get worried that like I'm just not close enough to him, or I'm just not thinking of him enough, or um, I guess what Jeff brings up, like not loving him enough. I think Erich talked about that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Happy moments are like breaks for digestion.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I remember that quote of Baba's a little, not fully, but he says, "Sometimes you think about me, sometimes you sing for me, sometimes you read about me, and sometimes this and that, but not all the time." That's what Baba said, but not all the time. So,
Wow. Do you know what year that was from?
I'll have to check and find out, but definitely Baba did say that. I mean,
Wow.
sometimes you do this, sometimes you do that, but not all the time. That's what he said. I mean, honestly, when Baba says that, you have to know the context in which he's saying that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this seems a little quite, I mean, it can spread over all aspects of our life, because it's like you said, if you keep on eating potatoes, definitely you'll not feel better, right? So the same
I'm eating
way,
potatoes right now, actually, for having a baked potato for dinner.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
the breaks in digestion are also important, like you just mentioned. So, and,
yeah.
yeah.
I actually, one thought came to mind, or when I was talking to Adrian, was that oh man, wow, is this really touching for me? But it's like that the fact that like somebody like Erich, for example, didn't necessarily need to be like blah 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 blah. Like he was in the position where his whole life, everything he breathed, everything he did was just so totally in the act. And of course he had the times that he was learning, but so much towards the end, and especially the last days and the last day, when like he's serving Baba so completely, and Baba gave him that just unbelievable grace to he just for him to leap forward and to place his lips onto the Lord's mouth and try to resuscitate him
Mhm.
for 30 minutes until he passes out. I mean, what an unbelievable way to just to part with
Mm,
the Lord's form. And he didn't even think, I'm sure he would have died.
mm,
He would
mm.
have gladly have died to bring Baba back, bring Baba back. And
No
just
doubt.
unbelievable. I mean, just so beautiful how through the stories of these wonderful people,
Mm,
um, that we can still feel him and have this opportunity of the grace of that door of love to still be open during this time, even though it's incredibly such a time of suffering for majority of the world. But isn't that kind of
right.
what do you call that, paradox? Paradox that we can have this opportunity now where Mani was saying, like, what did she say? Taking his love, take it now. Like it's the
Mm,
golden opportunity right now, right now.
The
And yet there's
looting,
so
loot while you can.
loot. Wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
loot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the fact that we have so much suffering, but then in the future when there's going to be the new humanity, where's that? I wonder where that if that door. I mean, I didn't ever. Do you guys know? Do you know if when the new humanity comes or is that when Baba then comes back? What's what? I don't know much about that.
I have no clue. But
Oh.
I have here a book on New Humanity by Don Stevens, but I got
Oh
to
yeah.
read it. But there he talks about what I think how a new humanity would look like. I mean, how they'll assimilate Baba into their life and that
Oh,
kind of.
he writes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think. I mean, again, as I said, I didn't read fully. I just browsed through a page here, a page there, but I do see a lot on intuition. He talks about intuition in depth, about 4 to 5 types.
I guess we lost Alan.
Oh, Alan's not there. Okay. Yeah. That's, why when till he comes back, I have a message. I have another quote here. Sparks of silence. The other day when I read in the group, Jeff said, "Hold on to it. I want to read it again." So here I am reading it again. It says, "Win yourself." To keep your best mood in every situation, to keep your best mood in every situation, never to be upset or sad, speak gently and lovingly, never using a harsh word, not to get excited but someone steals your things, but to say from the bottom of your heart, may Baba bless you. That is really difficult. And it further goes, to control the self is more difficult than walking on fire or glass. To control the self is more difficult than walking on fire or glass. It is easy to win a war of nations, but most difficult to win your own self. It is the only real thing on this path, that is winning your own self. To keep a calm head, tolerate and swallow everything. You have won the greatest war when you win yourself. And there are three more lines here. When nothing upsets you, you are at the beginning of the path. When you desire nothing, you are halfway on the path. When nothing becomes everything, you are perfected. Deva.
Beautiful.
That one about controlling yourself, that is really, really difficult.
You can say that again. Yeah, it is. It is. But it's always like you explode and then you repair the damage. The question is how quickly you repair the damage. And that happens to me all the time. I can never control myself when a moment arises when I feel like I should explode. I mean, I don't even feel like, I just do it. And then, and as an after effect, if I'm courageous enough, I go and say sorry. If I'm not, I'll do things to please the other person without actually saying sorry. So, so that's what happens.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you, it requires a lot of courage to go and say sorry. I have not been successful all the time. I can do it at work. That's more easier, I found out, but not very easy at home.
Yeah, it's always more difficult with our own family and stuff. And and I don't know, lately, I keep being put in these situations where it's happening more and more on a daily basis. And though I explode and though I use harsh words also, but then after that, I keep saying, why is this happening? And I feel Baba is testing me, putting me through this to bring me to that point where I can finally, learn to control myself.
Yeah.
Yes, the deeper self.
Yeah, but I found out over the time I'm exploding less and less. So something is working. So I just hope that I can do even better. So that's what it is.
You know, sorry, can you hear me? My
Yeah,
computer died. Okay, yeah, my computer died, and then it was saying that it wasn't picking up my audio. What I was really thinking about lately is what Jeff brought up about that quote, and I know I read that quote somewhere. It's so familiar, where Baba says something along the lines of, "Don't don't worry." What was it? Don't worry, like.
I'll find it for you. It's will and worry, and if you type
Yeah, is
will
it
and
the
worry,
one where he's like,
yeah.
if you worry, then it takes. I'm the one that should be worrying. I'll worry for you, or something like that.
Oh,
But that's
that
just
one.
I enjoy working things out.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
worry, then I won't worry.
uh
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing he quotes is also this one. Let me put it in the chat box. Maybe you all can read this. It's a longer one. It goes, the moment the intensity of your faith in my will reaches its height, you say goodbye to worry forever. Is that also something you're looking at, Alan?
yeah. I mean that definitely is incorporated in that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think what Rosalie said is right. I like working things out. So
yeah. That's been incredibly helpful to
Yeah.
think about on more often. Like, do I need to worry in this situation, or what does that really feel like to not worry, or is that even possible with certain things? But that little thought, that little thing of like, yeah, of that quote is kind of working with me lately.
but it's funny, right?
This is sweet. This is Worry Not by Don't Worry Be Happy. It says, worry not, do not worry about anything. Keep thinking of me constantly. I am the only one that exists, the only one that matters. Do not worry, but love me more and more. Hold fast to my Daman. Whatever the trials and difficulties you may be passing through, think of me more and more, and all your worries will dwindle into nothing, for they are really nothing. And my will works out to awaken this in you and all. If at all you must worry, let it be how to remember me constantly. This is worthwhile worry, because it will bring about the end of worry. So do worry that you may not forget me. Do your best, then don't worry. Be happy in my love. And that was taken from Meher Baba Calling, page 2.
Oh, thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
That's an incredible quote.
It really is.
That
Yeah.
was really loaded.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think like I was saying, I got to test that worry a little bit, or that how much I really do or can let go of worry. Like yesterday when I went from like 0 to 100 of being really sick and had like 102 fever, all of a sudden just real, like in the middle, just like dropping into the middle of the dark end of a bad flu, but it was something different. I mean, I knew it was my body reacting to the vaccine, but it was also like, this was just very strange for me. It never, I mean, never in the history of humanity have we been, does our bodies know what to do with the new technology that is now been injected in my body? So I was like, just thinking about that. And I also thought about Bao when he was at the end of his life,
Yeah.
and he was in an incredible amount of suffering. And Jeff was talking about, you know, and other people I've heard too really loved Bao, and when they would go to visit him, how much he was suffering, but how much he was also helping. Like he was still this levity in the room for other people who were visiting him, but he was an incredible amount of physical suffering. And I just kept saying like, Bob, okay, this is, I can't, then I'm not going to worry about this. Then I'll just, this is just it's a small change compared to anything like that. You know, I don't know what those guys what the Mandalay went through. So this is very small change. You could take this, Baba. But it's not easy when that's impending on you. You know, if your life is you know, the sickle is up to your throat or something, and you really feel like whoa, man, wait a minute. Okay, you know, and all the quotes go out the window, and then and then you start to see, you just start to see where you are with him, and that's really, yeah, one of those things.
Yeah, but somewhere I don't help me out here, but I think somewhere Baba said he will only give so much of pain that you can take. I mean, beyond that, he it's not that he gives anything, but it's what we accumulate. But the speed at which they should operate, he'll give you only, he'll let only so much happen to you, so you can still be conscious and be able to manage the pain yourself, something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
I remember having seen that. I could be wrong. I mean, we have the physical means of losing consciousness, right? I mean, when you have extreme pain, something happens in our body to just make us unconscious, so we don't feel the pain. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what we go through. Baba knows that you can handle it, so that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great consolation, right? So whatever happens to you, you know that you should be able to handle it because Baba has given you that that capacity. So with that in mind, you know, we can lessen the effect of whatever we go through and manage.
I don't know. That's one of the last things I'd think of. Somehow, you know, I don't find that very helpful. Really, you know, that's just not helpful to me to hear that. You know.
What's not helpful?
I don't know.
Well, you know, there's an Irish saying. It's one sentence that I think is very good. It says, "May no burden ever after be too much for you," because at times in life you think something is too much. You know, I mean, it just feels like too much. You know, so you know, it's interesting. I find that I'm very drawn to Baba speaking this mystical language because he talks about the pain, you know, and I'm not a lover of pain, you know, just
Oh yeah, me either.
yeah, I'm just not a lover.
I wanted to just tap out. Like, is there a button I can press to stop the pain? I was like, I'm done. I can't. It was a lot.
And you know, and he says mental pain is worse than physical pain.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I have suffered depression for long periods of time, and you don't know if it's going to end, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, and that's when you feel that you just don't know if you can handle something, you know.
Yeah, I remember Baba said that to somebody who I think later on developed. I think they developed something that was a very intense. Could be like a mental disorder or something, but they were had visited him, and he said something along the lines of like, in you, I think he told the people, like, hold on to my Daman, but then he pointed at one person and he said, but you hold on to me, to my Daman, with two hands, both hands tight, tight. You hold on both hands tight. And he like held his fists, And that person still ended up, I mean, I never forget that, because I was reading it when I was first becoming a Baba lover, and I was like, oh, so Baba doesn't just take away all your suffering. And I was having these heated discussions with Adrian about, like, Erico, who was murdered, and just like terrible. I was just like, how could I just was, I couldn't wrap my mind around that kind of thing. I was really upset actually with Baba. And I would have, and I had a long time where I was just like really angry, actually, just like really, really upset with Baba for why, some people go through so much. And of course there's I've been to enough meetings now to know and talk to enough Baba lovers where there's like, there's people on different sides of things, and they bring up like God speaks, or like, this and that, or different things from different avenues, different perspectives. And yeah, I think it's just interesting, where I find myself with that, because well, Baba answered that in a dream for me, very, very, very clearly. But and I could share that sometime. But that was, yeah, that was something I was really upset about, Roseleaf, because I also had suffered with severe depression for many years in my adolescence and teenage years and young adult years. It was very, very hard. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's but why don't you share it now, Ellen? I'd like to hear that.
Oh, well, that dream. Well, I was very angry, like I said, and I had been experiencing these fits of bursts of rage, and having really upset dreams, day and night, and I would, I couldn't stop having this feeling under my skin of just anger at God. Like, why would you? Because my family also comes from generations of genocide on both sides. My Armenian family, went through the Armenian genocide, 1914 to 1918. So that's kind of like been in my system, like having it's like internalized trauma and things like that. And so I was very, very rageful, and I used to spend time alone, kind of. I'd be honest with you, and I don't care if this is recording, but I used to scream at Baba's photo and scream at him, just like rage. Hateful, generations of hate and pain and trauma, and no answer was coming. And finally, one night, I had a dream where Baba was in front of me, and he was a little boy though, and I was like, it was like how he was with that little cap or something. But I didn't have the cap. He looked like, I've never seen a picture of him like that. But he was a little boy, and he was Baba. And I started to scream at this little boy of Baba, because I was like, if you're God, how could you let this happen? And I was screaming and screaming, and this little boy turned and looked at me and looked a bit, gave me this look, like a little confused, but then looked over to the right, and I saw Baba as a young man, probably how I look when he was a young man. And I started screaming at that version of Baba, and I was screaming at him, like, I just still don't understand. You're not answering my question. And he, had fire in his eyes, and he was just looking at me, but I couldn't feel any of the love or any levity. And he looked again to the right, and I looked, and it was an older version of Baba, maybe in his 40s. I started screaming at that, and then again, no response. And then finally, he looked over again, and there was the oldest version, a version of Baba that is very dear to me, and probably like 1958 or early 60s. And he was sitting down, and his hair was tied back, and he was right very close to me this time, and I was like really screaming at Baba's face. And in the middle of all that, I just can't explain to you the amount of total I mean, how could you not be who you say you, I mean, you know, when you're any human being, okay, you're looking in their eyes, you're bloodshot, you're shooting, like, I will murder you through my eyes, hate through just hate, murderous rage. And their expression, I mean, his expression on his eyes was just total compassion, just total, just sitting there with me, just holding all of it. And even that was starting to affect my mind, where I was affecting the way I was expressing myself. I was slowing down a little bit. And then he just, I never forget, even just his little movement of his shoulder, like this, and he brought his hand up and he went like that. And he looked at me and he just went like that. And my whole inner world just kind of went inside out. I just really let go of something that I had been holding on to, like that, like I say, that real deep. I would say that was the reason for me that my depression in my life, like truly my depression and you know, like suicidal depression type of thing, like, was gone, and that generational thing was left, and I just wept at his feet. You know, I just wept at his feet, and I let it go, and he just held all that. It was like nothing. It was not even like a drop in. and then I woke up. But to me, that was when I was first learning about Baba and first having all these doubts and having a lot of anger and depression still in my life. And it's never been back since then. So I don't know if it was just, maybe it was just the time for that. But I know that for some people, the work is not done. The work has to be continued with that type of thing. That's not to say I don't feel depressed at times or something, but you know, that other kind of depression where you're like, I can't get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for listening. Sorry if that was too intense.
I thought it was a great story.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing it.
Thanks for sharing, Alan.
Yeah, wonderful. What a dream. Yeah.
That was truly wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That was great.
Oh, he took away your anger, you know, and your depression. It's going like that, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm able to do my job now, because every day I have people screaming at me, and angry at me. I think all that was about, it sounds dramatic, but he was just preparing me to do a job at a real estate company so that people could scream at me every day and I won't freak out, and I won't freak out at them. I'll just like, yes, sir, I totally understand. You're upset with them. Anyways, Jay Baba, thank you.
I had a particularly tempestuous marriage. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it got to the point where she enjoyed provoking me, she meaning the ex-wife, as if to say, see, now you're down at my level. You think you're so spiritual, but you're just a low life like me. And I would go into it and we would argue. And this went on for years. And it was like poison. I mean, after we moved, we found out that my neighbor was glad to see us go because we were so loud and obnoxious. And what I learned was to walk away from the argument. It was like somebody waving a red flag in front of me, and I'm a bull. Aha! So now they can call me an asshole. They can call me anything they want. And I think, well, do I want to have a fight right now or not? Then I think about the consequences, which are always bad. And I know if I raise my voice, I'm going to lose my vote. And I think, well, some other time. We'll fight some other time. Okay.
That's good.
That reminds me of that scene from My Cousin Vinny, where this guy wanted to fight with him and he wouldn't fight with him until later on in the movie. So now I've been with my sweetheart for 11 years, and the fights that we have are just so minuscule. They're like nothing. They just disappear. I can't even remember what we fought about. And they're not violent like they used to be, not loud or anything. It's just very, very quiet, gentle. And I really appreciate that. So there's a lot to be said for walking away and not expressing the negative. It's like digging the hole deeper. Like the grooves on a record, right? The more you play that groove, the deeper it becomes. Well, if you don't, then you put your emphasis someplace else, you know, saying wonderful things about each other.
Absolutely.
So that's my 2 cents, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely am. I think, like I said, that I really am grateful to Baba that I was able to even express that level of you know, it's almost like squeezing a pimple. You can get the surface of it, but I was like trying to squeeze all the way to rip the root out and the pore and whatever was. I was just like really desperate to. It felt like it was just something that was haunting me. It was a haunting kind of rage that maybe wasn't even mine. And I think that would have followed. I mean, I think it's just Baba's grace that it was time for that, whatever that was. It was no longer serving my life purpose. And like you said, now it's possible to have like healthy anger.
Alan, you know, that thing you sent me about the talk Erich had with someone in Mandalay Hall about the Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
I found that really helpful because there's one line where Erich says, you just want something to be over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like getting to the point with a certain suffering that you just want it to be over, you know, and it's not over, you know, and I think that's why people bring up the Armageddon, you know, the suffering is building, you know, and like now with the pandemic and everything, the suffering's building and they don't know when it's going to be over. Can we control it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you were thinking that when you got your shot. You're just, did I make a mistake?
No, actually, the first thing I thought of was like, I was like, I was like, you freaking. I thought of the 5 perfect masters, and I just kind of thought of all of them, and I was like, you guys all put this together, right? You all thought you just all came together and put this under his orders for this moment to happen, for all these moments to happen. Isn't that incredible that they would know every single moment of everything?
I think they're sitting watching us, right?
Rosalie, I came in late on this, so I don't know what suffering you're going through, but I have to tell you, looking at you, you're so full of love and so full of joy and so full of beauty that whatever suffering you've gone through is making the jewel that you are now, because you are truly beautiful. And you just,
well, I was speaking of a time of mental suffering, like depression, and because you don't always know when something will end. Like say, I know someone now, he's not a Baba lover, but he is in such physical pain. And I says, well, you don't have anything to lose. I say, Baba's name is the ultimate weapon. He doesn't, and he will repeat the name because he's like desperate. and he's so cute because uh, uh, the pain is just amazing to see him. You know, it's kind of nerve pain or something weird. And the doctors are kind of, try this, try that. And it's just like, oh. So I found myself today and I said to him, I says, well, you don't know. I says, I'm glad you're repeating Baba's name. It's the ultimate weapon because you might find yourself on the other side. I mean, you might have to die with this, you know. You know, but he's so cute when he says to me, he loves when I say to him, Jai Baba, you know, and, you know, there's a certain innocence about it, you know, but that suffering, you know, it brings back the memory of when you think that something is just too much, you know. It's like, yeah. So actually, Alan, to hear that of, you know, that it can be rage behind depression, you know, like yeah. Because I know as a child, I used to throw horrendous tantrums when I was quite young. And I thought, and I was doing a bit of stand-up comedy, and I thought I was very good at horizontal flamenco. Because it's like horizontal flamenco, throwing this violent rage and stomping your feet and flailing, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have to say, I'm very glad that I'm not back at that point of thinking, oh, I don't know if I can get through feeling depressed for, you know, now. You know, I mean, we're very addicted to time. You know, that eternal now just seems like, oh, wow.
Well, what you're reminding me of is when Padre, and I don't know if anyone else loves to watch his videos, but he's so unbelievably, I mean, just like a old catcher's mitt that is so familiar and fits perfectly on my hand still after all these years. They just are so familiar of a friend. But he was talking about witnessing a man who had come to see Baba in the early days, and Baba had said to him, you know, like, stay. He was like, you know, you're doing well, your health is doing good, okay, good. And then his last order to the man was, you know, stay away from that, I guess, sexual debauchery that you're doing. And the guy was like gave a look and then like ran off. And Padre thought that was kind of weird. And then, but the man eventually comes back. Oh no, he says to the man something along like, stay away from that debauchery. If you keep doing that, you know, it will cost your life or something like that. It was something very intense and direct. And the man comes back later and he's diseased and he's intense physical suffering, mental suffering. He's like, please, Baba. He's like begging him. And they're at the Jopri or somewhere around there. Please relieve me. Please relieve me. And then, you know, Padre's voice when he says relieve, there's like this drop in the, please relieve me. It's like this, please, Baba. And Baba said, don't worry. I'll relieve you. Don't worry. And the man ended up, you know, dying 2 days later. That was his form of relief. You know, when you said that, sometimes you might have to actually die with the thing. And we don't even know what that, we don't even, you know what I mean? Like how we can't even know what we came in with this lifetime that we were still working out from the last time or from 3 times ago. Or I just thought that was very particularly strong example of like, sometimes we can't even help ourselves with some of these things or you know, I don't know. It could have been that I spent the rest of my life with that deep depression, but
Yeah,
it wasn't the time. It wasn't the lifetime for that. Maybe it'll come back next time. Maybe. I don't know.
No.
I
Don't
don't
say
know.
that.
Yeah. No, I don't wish for that, Baba. I don't wish for that. Yeah.
I see that quite a few people joined just now. Patty, Diane, March, and
Oh yeah.
Jai Baba.
Let me put this on gallery view. Oh wow. Sick. Okay. Hey, Meher Prasad,
Hi,
Diane,
Alan.
Patty.
Yeah. How's late night without Jeff Wolverton going?
Oh, you know, Jeff's in here. Jeff's in my heart.
He's our constant companion.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have 3 or 4 Jeffs here.
He'll be
Beautiful,
happy to
Jeff.
see we're still here.
No, I miss Jeff. I wish he was here.
Did he go somewhere special for his vacation?
I don't know actually. Does anybody know where Jeff went?
Vacation, he told vacation.
I think he just used the word vacation.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That's what he said.
That means he didn't want to be questioned.
Yeah.
We'll get it out of him though.
Yeah.
Probably in the bathroom somewhere.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he did that. That was really funny. I know he was getting in trouble, but I was trying not to laugh. It was hard when he was in the bathroom and there was like the towel roll and all this, and he was like, and he kept saying like, I'm sorry, I'm being too loud. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, all right. Well, anyways, Baba used to say, like, yeah. Does anybody else have anything to share?
Yeah, on that story, Alan, I think the story was that this was in Manzile meme, where there was this person who Baba said not to have any sexual relations with anyone.
Oh my God, none.
Yeah.
He was a laundry man, I guess, in Manzilium.
Yeah, and you know, Baba told him if you have anything like that, you'll get leprosy.
Leprosy, that was what it was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you know, the
Why?
person did have it, and he didn't tell Baba, and Baba had to really get that out of his mouth, and he said that he finally did agree to, you know, having some sexual relations, and then Baba said that, you know, you just have to face the consequences. And then several years later, he came to Mehrabad, and you know, he was suffering, but you know, Baba said that you just have to go through this in this life. And I think after a year or so, that he passed away.
Yeah, you can check out that Padre giving that. I think it's one of the newest ones they released on YouTube. With these long clips of Padre and these like kind of behind the scenes where he's like, are you still rolling? And then they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, so and then he would begin to tell a story. Yeah.
The thing I really liked in that was, and I remember, is that he said that it was not a punishment from Baba for him. It was
yes.
compassion, that he was trying to save him by telling him what would happen if you do this, and he was trying to save him. But you know, it was in his destiny to go through that.
Yeah, that was a huge point. I forgot. Yeah.
It's like, you know, God doesn't punish for these kind of things. They, you know, they always try to save you. You have to understand that it's, you know, it's in your favor that to obey the master.
Jai Baba, everybody. I just come from a long day of listening to a lot of things on the internet, and just we were Diane and Terry and I were just in another meeting where Vijay was sharing how his father had come to Baba. It was a very, very touching story. And then how Vijay first met Baba. And what I'm reminded of in just hearing this little input here about Padre is, and today I've listened to Peter Nordine and the Shariar and the Kaikushara. I didn't say that right, but I've listened to a lot of stuff today, and what keeps coming up is the absolute compassion, like you were saying, Mayor Prasad, that God really knows us so well, and he's always trying to help us. I mean, always. And you could see in Vijay's story with his dad, and lots of things that I heard today. And unfortunately, they run a little bit together in my mind, but it is so heartwarming to know, and particularly at, you know, over 50 years in this lifetime, where I had no clue probably the first 30 years, even going to Marizad and Mehrabad in the early 70s. And I couldn't really understand it. It was like my heart wasn't ready to hear it, even though I was drawn there at, you know, 22 and heard of Baba when I was 19. But all of these opportunities that are happening daily, hourly, if you want to tune in to YouTube or, you know, I mean, really, Alan, for you to be able to have those intimate moments, having not met Padre or been in his presence in this lifetime, and to really feel what it was like, is every moment we have access to guidance and love and compassion and the stories. And it's, I'm just feeling really, really grateful for everybody that shows up, you know, the Mandali that allowed themselves to be recorded, Baba that allowed himself to be seen, and the messages he gave, and how precise it always is for the individual, and how perfect it always is. And we learn to eventually have enough faith that the conviction is there that he always has our back. You know, I was struggling a little bit with that and through many periods of my life, in this life. And I'm finally getting, you know, getting to believe that he really does. And I really feel it. And it's like, oh my God, I really get this. And there are still episodes of eruptions of anger and frustration, but they're shorter, and I see very quickly, and then I can accept seeing it and knowing that it's just getting rid of a little more of my dirty laundry and garbage. You know, I still have a lot of it, but it's the YouTube and the recordings and all these things that we can tap into every minute of every day. It's just, I mean, you know, you can live stream the Samadhi, or you can live stream Myrtle Beach, and, you know, so it's, and I actually got an email thinking Myrtle Beach might be coming open to us all. So I was thrilled about that today. So Jai Baba, everybody. It's lovely to see you. Jai Baba.
Thanks, Patty.
Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Well,
Thank
Jai
you
Baba.
so much.
That's a beautiful point you said there, Patty. And I remember Iruch saying, you know, it's not like you won't feel angry or you won't express anger and so on, but you'll notice that it will not remain for a long time. It'll quickly go away. And that he said that is being natural, meaning that when it doesn't stick to you and you don't remain angry for a long time, and it goes away soon, naturally, that is being natural.
Yeah. And you know what drew, I mean, Jeff always said this, and I thought I was the only one in the world that said it when I'd come back and was in the Northwest, and I really wasn't with a lot of Baba community in my early years here. Moved to Eugene in '73 after my first trip to India. And I would always say, people would say, well, what do you do there? What do you do there? You know, I'd be gone 3 months, and I'd say, well, I just visit with all my favorite aunts and uncles. And and it was the truth. And that explanation I wish I had then was their naturalness, their authenticity, and their humanness, and it just felt so right. Right, so loving and so normal. And it wasn't normal in my life in this other world that I came from. So, it's really beautiful. But that's right. It's the naturalness that draws us. It's beautiful. And Baba, I mean, everything about Baba was perfectly natural. And it's the mind can't get it, but the heart sure gets it, It's really fantastic. So, yeah, beautiful.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I do have actually found the exact segment where Padri in that video talks about that point that you mentioned, Meher Prasad, about did the master curse him? Was this like some sort of curse or was it not? And I could share that right now, or if anybody has anything pressing they'd like to share, please let me know. If not, I can share.
Yeah, beautiful.
Go for it.
I might I need to have the capacity to share. It says host has disabled participant screen sharing. I'm not sure.
Try now, Alan. Can you try now?
Try now. Okay. Share sound. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Let's.
Beautiful.
Now I'm hoping that the volume is going to be good. Let me 1 second.
My question. Did Baba curse him? No, sir. No, sir. A perfect master, a perfect man, a man of God, a God man never curses. Never. A perfect man, a God realized soul. Well, Baba was God as man, even man as God. For him, everything is just God. Everything is oneness. Whom should he curse? There is oneness. He sees himself in everything. Everything is by him. Everything is in him. So how could he curse? The very thought is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But then, how come he got leprosy? Yes, sir. That man in the service of Baba was there. He had his samskars, he had his impressions, he had his life before him. Baba gave him a fair warning. Kashinath, you obey my word and I'll take care of you. That man did not follow Baba's orders. Well, there you are. Had he followed Baba's orders, he could have skipped leprosy in this birth. But even then, I'll say, he was very lucky. In the beginning, he lived with Baba, and in the end, after having suffered his samskars, he died in the master's house. But one thing people would just translate as a curse. No, sir, it's no curse at all. A perfect master, a man of God, God-man, never curses. He is compassionate one. He loves everybody. He sees himself in everyone. So whom should he curse? So that's a ridiculous idea. Somebody would translate like that. But it is not so. It was a fair warning to him. You obey what I say, and I'll take care of you, which he did not, and he suffered for it. Thank you, sir. Jai Baba.
No. Okay.
Wonderful. I have a couple of poems of Jeff. here. Okay. This is called Too Much to Carry. All my needs I have packed in one small suitcase. For my wants, I have rented a warehouse. Jeff Wolverton. And this is again from Bob Jager.
Can you read that again, Chesima?
Yeah, too much to carry. All my needs I have packed in one small suitcase. For my wants, I have rented a warehouse.
Beautiful.
Another poem, a prayer for grace while waiting at the airport. Attention passengers, do not leave your baggage unattended. Unattended baggage may be confiscated and may be destroyed. Baggage, I would leave it all in a heap on this hard plastic seat and beg. Please confiscate and destroy as you wish. I would dance through your gate laughing, and so much lighter with only my luggage.
That's beautiful too.
Can you read that one
That was-
again?
Yeah,
Where was
sure.
that from?
This is from Whistling Past the Tavern by Jeff Wolverton and Bob Jager.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is, again, I'll be reading again. A prayer for grace while waiting at the airport. Attention passengers, do not leave your baggage unattended. Unattended baggage may be confiscated and may be destroyed. Baggage, I would leave it all in a heap on this hard plastic seat and beg. Please confiscate and destroy as you wish. I would dance through your gate laughing, and so much lighter with only my luggage.
I have a one of my favorite Jeff Wolverton poems here. This is called "Where Does He Reside?" and I read this on a plane coming back from my first trip to Myrtle Beach. The hourglass must be broken before one is released into sacred time. You ask what I'm doing? I'm listening for the precious sound of his footsteps echoing down the winding corridor of this eternal moment.
Read that again, Alan.
That's beautiful.
Where does he reside? The hourglass must be broken before one is released into sacred time. You ask what I'm doing? I'm listening for the precious sound of his footsteps echoing down the winding corridor of this eternal moment.
Beautiful.
It's very visceral for me.
Jai Baba.
Michael, do you have any poetry of your poetry you can share with us?
Sure.
Would you like to?
All right. There's one that I read before that I pictured reading it tonight, so I just it's the title is Guzzle Z, which always makes me laugh. Because what do these titles mean anyway? At last my journey's ended. I see the shore alive with birds and trees, My children wave their arms to greet me, friends and family all. My wife, smiling, waits to fondly hold me in her embrace once more. The air, the clouds, the very earth vibrates in its joy to greet a weary mariner after a lengthy sail. But I am heartsick and in pain. My quest has been a failure. I searched and searched for you, oh Lord, and all I found was me. I saw you in the distance upon another shore, in the depths and the stars, burning as the sun. I heard you in the roaring gales that wake that trails my boat, the phosphorescence of the waves, and in the troubled clouds, billowing, shredding, and galloping across a crystal sky. Oh God, where are you? Where do you abide? You are so near, yet I cannot see you. So close, I feel your breath upon my breath, yet so distant as your diadem of stars. Your lips brush my cheek, solace me in sorrow, scattering my pain like bubbles on the sea. Blinded by my self-deceit, I see my shadow instead of you. I cannot come to you any longer. My sailing days are over. Heart and pride broken, weary, worn, and beaten. My faded charts float uselessly towards the shore. But I beg of you, give me one last drop of the wine you promised me in the days before time's counting. Give me one last drop, just one. Come to me, my lover. Come to me, my love. I wait and languish for your love. Come and set me free. Unreachable one, I beg your forgiveness for aspiring to touch you, your indulgence for my daring to hold you, you who are infinitely free. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
Beautiful.
That is lovely, Michael. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, that was really beautiful.
Thank you. I feel like when I read it, my heart breaks once again. It's funny, I've come to love having my heart broken.
I will forever have that that quote from Mother Teresa that Jeff shared with us. Right, beloved God, or dear God, please break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in. I'll never forget that one.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I never heard that one before. That's lovely.
Bao said I would bring all of humanity to tears. It doesn't seem like it from here, but that's what he said.
I have a poem you've inspired me to share, Michael. This is a poem I wrote for my wife, Adrian. And I wrote it while listening to Claire de Lune.
Ooh, love that.
So I had that playing in the background, and then I just was like, what am I gonna say? But this is what came out. From the hisses of distant clashing galaxies, infinite forms and suffering, I looked. In windows of time never closed, with heartache untold, I looked. Throughout the corners of this world and the last, memories dark and vast, I looked for you. And here you are, as if I'd only taken a single step away. So now, precious as the moment slips, dance with me, darling, won't you? I promise not to let go, my everlasting and true love.
Can you read that like 3 more times?
I could read it once more, yeah.
Thank you.
And it, I usually read it much, much slower because it's a long song. From the hisses of distant clashing galaxies, infinite forms and suffering, I looked. In windows of time never closed, with heartache untold, I looked. Throughout the corners of this world and the last, memories dark and vast, I looked for you. And here you are, as if I'd only taken a single step away. So now, precious as the moment slips, dance with me, darling, won't you? I promise not to let go, my everlasting and true love.
God, you read
Beautiful.
that so beautiful. The second time, it was
Say
like it came alive. It was just beautiful. It was so felt. I can't believe it was the same thing. I heard it so differently. That was really lovely.
We have Dinku raised her hand. Dinku, you have something to do?
Yeah, I just thought I'd read, well, today's May 5th here in Mumbai, from the eternal calendar for today. Why is it so difficult to find God? It is because you are looking for something you have never lost. God is beyond understanding. The moment you think you understand God, you misunderstand him. You miss him when you try to understand him. God is everywhere and does everything. God is within us and knows everything. God is without us and sees everything. God is beyond us and is everything. Trust God completely and he will solve all difficulties. Faithfully leave everything to him and he will see to everything. Jai Baba.
Does anybody have anything else to share? As Jeff would say. He would be like, well, it's getting kind of late here. Does anybody have anything else to share?
A last glass
Yeah.
of wine.
Yeah.
Let me, I'll share a quote and maybe we can close it after that. It's a Baba quote. The truth which I want you to share with, the truth which I want you to share with me is not a matter of opinion or belief, but of direct experience which knows no contradiction and which will make you realize that nothing in this world is worth being greedy about. And that there need not be any hatred, jealousy, or fear. Then, and only then, will man launch himself upon the safe voyage of unending creativity and unfading happiness, which knows no decay or fear. He will have transcended the duality of I and you, mine and thine.
Can you read that one more time?
Yeah. The truth which I want you to share with me is not a matter of opinion or belief, but of direct experience, which knows no contradiction and which will make you realize that nothing in this world is worth being greedy about, and that there need not be any hatred, jealousy, or fear. Then and only then will man launch himself upon the safe voyage of unending creativity and unfading happiness, which knows no decay or fear. He will have transcended the duality of I and you, mine and thine.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Any I guess any last shares before we close it out?
I have another poem from Jeff Wolverton. It's called A Demolition Job. Sometimes when a house is too old and broken down, any further repairs are of no use. It's better to demolish the structure completely and start anew. That's what the beloved must do when faced with our outdated egos, endless need for repairs. The love he has to give could never fit into that crude shack of a house anyway. Only a place that has no walls or roof can house his boundless soul. Jeff Wolverton.
Beautiful. Jai Baba.
Okay, I guess any last things? And then we can do a moment of silence, I guess. No? Okay. I guess let's just have a moment of silence.
Wait.
One more thing. I just
Oh,
want to
there we go.
It's Terry. This is not Bubba's words, it's my words, but maybe it is Bubba's words. I just love you all. That's all I can say. I love seeing your faces and hearing your words and seeing your smiles and your tears, actually. And I wish you all a good night or a good day. Blessed be. Jai Baba.
You too.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you. We all love you very much.
Diane, I didn't get to see myself on that video. Was it weird?
No, you were wonderful. I've been telling Terry all about it.
All night.
Marcia had an art show today, and it was recorded, so it was part of the artist view. And she just was, Marcia, you were just exquisite.
It's the first thing she said when I got home from the office was about you.
I was afraid to look at YouTube to see myself because I'm like, oh, what did I say? And then I was like embarrassed.
You know what? If you're going to give Baba all the credit for your artwork, you give him all the credit for what you said.
Only see Baba when you watch it. Just see Baba.
The colors you created with the watercolor were just exquisite.
Okay, I'm going to watch the YouTube video.
I encourage everybody to take a look at it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
She's like the Michael Childs of watercolor.
Oh, wow. Well, I got to check it out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I need to find some musicians to help put some music to the work. Good luck, right?
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, good night, all you. It was wonderful.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
We'll say Avatar Meher
Meher
Baba.
Baba ki jai.
Avatar
Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Jai Baba.
We miss you, Jeff Wolverton.
I hope he's not in the laundry closet now.